Hello everyone, I am Ashirwad Bedekar, 4th year Electronics and Telecommunication student at Vivekanand Education Society's Institute of Technology, Mumbai. This is our virtual laboratory for the subject Optical Fiber Communication. Me, along with my teammates Ambesh Mishra, Archita Malgaonkar, Dhairya Nagpal, Fiza Khan, Rohan Khare, and Shiva Ahir have developed this lab as a part of our summer internship under the guidance of our faculty in charge, Dr. Mrs. Ranjan Balajai. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all the lectures were shifted online and the colleges were closed. Though the theoretical knowledge was being given to us via the online lectures, but the practical implementation and the laboratory experience was still somewhere missing. Also, while learning the theoretical knowledge, it became really impossible for us to actually know how it is applied in the real world. So, with the intention that the students should be able to perform these experiments at the convenience of their home on their laptop or desktop, we have prepared this lab for this subject. So that during the online lectures, when the students are gaining theoretical knowledge, they can simultaneously perform the experiments without actually going to the college or the laboratory. Now, let me take you through the virtual lab and exactly explain how have we designed it. Our virtual laboratory consists of a total of 6 experiments. To develop this laboratory, we have used 3 major technologies, that is HTML to develop our web pages, CSS to develop style and animate things in our HTML pages, and JavaScripts, which are the heart of our virtual laboratories, which include all the simulation based content. Now, let me take you through one of the experiments and explain how exactly have we designed it. Experiment 2. This experiment talks about the intermodal dispersion in a multimode optical fiber. Now, the navigation bar of the virtual lab is so designed that it should be as similar as to what a student writes in his write-up. So, things such as aim of the experiment, objectives of the experiment are relatable. In the theory section, we have put up theory and related diagrams from standard reference books and genuine content. In theory section, we have put up references from standard reference books so that the student should be able to learn the right thing and exactly the material which is required for the particular experiment is present. Now, once the student has revised the theoretical concepts, he can take a small quiz in the what do you know section or the pre-quiz section. In the what do you know section, the student will be taking a pre-quiz and answering certain questions based on whatever theoretical knowledge he has gained in the theory section. If he feels that most of the answers are correct, he can proceed towards the procedure and the simulator section. If not, he can go back to the theory and revise his concepts. In the procedure section, we have put up snips and exact steps as to how the experiments are to be performed in the simulator section. Also, due to this, if the student faces any difficulty in the simulator section, he can anytime come back to the procedure and check exactly what is correct and what needs to be done to get the output, so that the student doesn't get any wrong output and in turn gets a wrong conclusion for the experiment. Now let's go to the simulator section. In the simulator section for this particular experiment, we are measuring the intermodal dispersion in a multimode optical fiber. Now, as we all know that there are 2 main components of optical fiber, that is the core and the cladding, and the refractive indexes value of the core and the cladding decide majority of the properties of an optical fiber. Now, because these optical fibers are available in different materials, the student is given a selection as to select which material he needs the experiment to be done for. Now, if the student selects the fiber as plastic, the core and the cladding values are already being fixed based on standard values for the optical fiber. Now, in this experiment, the student will be changing the length of the fiber from 0.5 kilometers to 5 kilometers. In all the experiments throughout the virtual lab, the leftmost section will be the input section, the rightmost section will be the output and the graph section, and the center portion will consist of tables for diagrams and observation tables which will be populated. Also, there are certain dynamic charts which will be changing as per the input values. These charts and the dynamic graphs which we are getting are being taken from chart.js and canvas.js. Also, we have made up a point that in each experiment in the input section, we have given the formula, so that if a student wants to solve a numerical, verify the experiment, or even calculate or add up to his knowledge, he can always refer to the theoretical formula. Now, all the experiment consists of three important buttons, that is the calculate button, which will basically calculate the values and populate the observation table, the plot button, which will plot a graph of the observed values, and the reset button, which will reset the entire experiment if the student wants to perform the experiment again. Now, in this experiment, we have made up a point that all the values are predefined by the developer. That is, in all majority of the experiments, we have given the user to select values from a given set, so that the student doesn't put any invalid value and get some wrong result. Also, with this slider option, the student will be able to perform the experiment within set values, so that he can see exactly as to what the trend is based on the input output values. Now, once the calculations have been done, the student can plot the result and check what exactly the trend is and accordingly write his conclusion. Now, let's go to the navigation page again. Next, we have the post quiz section, or what have you learned section. Now, in this section, the student will be answering certain questions based on whatever he has done in the simulator. So, the post quiz section is basically a test to check whether if the student has done the simulator correctly and if he has gained the knowledge from the simulator. So, the student will be answering about 10 questions. Out of, if he scores more than 80%, he will be getting a certificate on his registered email ID. Also, we would be taking some information regarding the student, because this virtual lab is intended to be used outside our college also. So all the necessary details will be taken and a certificate like this will be sent to the student. Now, once the certificate has been received, that's all for the simulator section. But wait, the most important part, which is a big bonus to the student, is still awaiting. That is the PDF generator section. Now, in the simulator section, once the student has performed the experiment, he will be taking a snip using snip tool of the graphs and the observation table. Now, the most important part is to create a write-up out of this entire simulation of the experiment. So he would be going to the PDF generator. Now, as we used iframes and Google Forms in the pre and the post quiz section, we have tried using technologies which are known by the student. Like in this case, we have used Google Docs to generate pre-built documents which can be accessed by the students. Because as engineering students, we are very much familiar with Google Form, Google Docs and their working. So it would be easy for students to interact with these technologies so that they don't face any difficulties. Now, when the student will click on the PDF generator section, he will be redirected to a Google Doc which is already being prepared according to what exactly he writes in his journal, like aim, objectives, theory, procedure, etc. So the student will be only putting up the observation table snip and the graph snips here and then writing a conclusion according to whatever knowledge he has gained from the experiment and whatever he wants to conclude regarding the experiment. Once that's done, the student can download the entire file as a doc. Now, once the document has been downloaded, his official journal is ready. Now, if the faculty demands of his particular college to submit it as a soft copy, he can submit it via Google Classroom or Google Forms or even even Gmail, like we all did during this COVID-19 pandemic, or even he can take a printout and submit it as a hard copy. But the core intention which we had, that the student should start from the computer and end on the computer, is finally achieved after the PDF generator section. Like the student will start performing the experiment start learning about the experiment virtually and end up completing the experiment also virtually. As I told you that a virtual lab consists of a total of 6 experiments, out of which the first experiment was to check the attenuation in optical fibers. The second experiment which we perform about the intermodal dispersion in optical fibers. The third experiment is to check the misalignment losses in an optical fiber, and the fourth experiment is related to bending losses in an optical fiber. Now, experiments 1 to 4 are experiments which are giving us information about characteristics of optical fiber. Now, experiment 5 and 6 are basically a combination of whatever knowledge we have gained from experiment 1 to 4 based on the characteristics which we have learned from experiment 1 to 4. Now we will be designing actual systems in experiment 5 and 6. Now let me take you through one of the design experiments, that is experiment 5. Experiment 5 is to find out the power budget of optical fiber communication link. Now, as that you are familiar with the navigation bar, let's directly go to the simulate. Now, in the simulator section, the user will be first selecting the data rate. Now, the data rate is nothing but the rate of the signal which is being transmitted to the optical fiber. Now, why is it important? That will be that you can understand in the simulator section. Now, let's select a data rate for random, say 5 to 25 Mbps. Now, once the data rate has been selected, the user is redirected to the simulator page. As I told you that majoritarily we have tried to implement graphs in our systems, but where graph is not possible, we have tried including diagrams and models which are related to the experiment. Now, here let's start step by step. The student will be first selecting the length of the fiber, the total length which is to be laid. Say the length is about 100 kilometers. Then the student will be selecting the length of the fiber rolls which are available, say it should be 20. Then the student will be selecting the connector loss which is in dB. Now because the connectors are fixed, one at the TX and one at the RX, hence the number of connectors is fixed. Now the student will be selecting the splice loss, and then finally the input power which is being given to the at the transmitting end. Once that's done, the student will be calculating the output power which will be coming at the receiver. Now that happens to be minus 54 dB, which is in decibels. Now there is a condition. Each receiver has a detector, and the detector is responsible to detect the incoming signal, that is P out, for this experiment. But there is a problem. The detector will only detect signals which satisfy the sensitivity criteria for that receiver. That means if a signal, the P out signal, doesn't satisfy the receiver's sensitivity criteria, the detector will not detect it. So to know whether the P out value which we have got can be implemented for this particular data rate, what we would be doing is we would be checking the detector. Now for each data rate which is being mentioned, there are certain detectors which work. So say for 5 to 25 Mbps data rate, we have 3 detectors which can be used, which have different detector sensitivities. Now let's check whether a system can be implemented via this check button. The page says that the value of the P out cannot be received at the receiver. Try changing the detector from the list or change fiber roll size, connector loss or splice loss. That is, the page says that because the output power which we got was minus 54, but the sensitivity was minus 56, hence the P out cannot be received. So what we can do is we can either change the detector from the options which are available for the given data rate, or we can change the other parameters which are responsible for getting the output value. But first, let's check with some other detector. So I select this InGas pin detector of minus 45 dB. And bravo, the system says that this can be implemented because the sensitivity criteria has been satisfied. So in this way, a student can learn if for the given parameters whether the system can be implemented or not. Also, if none of the detectors satisfy the criteria, he can maybe try changing the other input parameters which will not affect his system. Now, as I told you that all the experiments have theoretical formulas present so as for the student to calculate the exact values. Now, this was all for the design based experiments. Now, certain things which I would like to say before I conclude this video. In this entire virtual labs, we have made a point that whatever theoretical knowledge is being taught to the student, related experiments to that knowledge are being covered in this virtual lab. Also, we have used technologies such as Google Forms and Google Docs so as to minimize the complexity in our virtual labs, and the student would be able to easily use these facilities. The PDF generator section will enable the student to create soft copies of experiments if needed. The automatic certificate which will be sent will be a proof that the student has attempted to this particular lab and then attempted the quiz to secure the certificate. The core intention of this virtual laboratory was to get all the experiments online, so that a student, even if a student feels that he wants to revise a certain experiment, he can always revise and brush up his concepts. Also, a student can perform this experiment multiple times because this lab is always available for him. Also, all the references which are being taken are from standard recommended textbooks. So whatever theoretical knowledge is being mentioned and is being shared is totally correct. So with this, I would like to end this video. But before doing that, I would first like to thank my entire team that they have given me this opportunity to present this virtual lab to the panel. Also, I would like to thank my institution as well as my faculty in charge that they have given us the opportunity during this summer internship to develop such a beautiful concept which would be helpful for us as well as our juniors and also other colleges which would be using these virtual labs for optical fiber experiments. Thank you so much.